Hi, my name is Pete. I'm here to talk to you guys today about trafficking, specifically sexual trafficking of women. So just have some interesting information here for you. 40 million people are trafficked worldwide. Of that, 79% are for sexual purposes. The other main component is for labor purposes around the world. So places that are making some of our goods for very inexpensive prices, maybe you have to ask the question why they can get away with having some of those very inexpensive items. 75% of those 40 million people that are trafficked are women, and they're 20% are children, so the other 5% are men. The way most of these people are locked into this is something called debt bondage, which I thought was really interesting. So the reason why debt bondage is interesting is basically what they're doing is they're telling you have to stay in an area, and they may take your passport or your ID or all of your money and force you to work in the way that so you're paying off the debt, but you may be paid very low wages, if wages at all, in order to actually get your information back so you can go home. The jobs that they're doing are prostitution, stripping, pornography, live sex shows, mail order brides, military prostitution, and sexual tourism. So if you're partaking in any of those things, you could actually be helping to promote this sexual slavery of women and children, which is pretty sad. So the other parts that are really terrible for these people is instead of being treated as a victim, they're actually treated as criminals, because our police and authorities don't understand the total problem. And like here in Atlanta, we're the leading sex trafficking stop in the entire United States. So that being said, how many people are out there that are being arrested for this prostitution when it's not something they really wanted to be doing? It's what's been forced upon them by somebody else. And because they're now convicted criminals, they can no longer get housing or jobs or anything else. So they're kind of locked into this particular life without their consent. So just on average, a slave in the world costs you about $90. That's not very much considering it's free labor. You feel for the people who were taken in the early part of our country as slaves. They were far more expensive than these $90 slaves that are out there now. So clearly, doing this sexual slavery can have some huge effects on you, but the main ones are your health, because you could end up with HIV, AIDS, or another STI. Your mental health, almost all of them will end up with some sort of PTSD. And on top of it, it affects your family and their health, because they're sitting there worried about where their loved one is. So there's ways that we can help combat this. The main ones that I've read about are, we need to learn about the problem. We need to understand what we're talking about. We need to tell someone when we see something. So if you're seeing something out there that just doesn't look right, there are definitely ways that we can go about helping them. And believe it or not, the biggest group that we could tell is ICE. I actually have the phone number for them. It's 866-DHS-2ICE. And they will look into any accusations of sexual slavery and try to put an end to it. We need to push our politicians to make real laws that do help them and don't make them victims all over again. So the reason why I'm so passionate about this is I have a 4-month-old daughter, and in reading about this problem, it was kind of crazy. But some of the worst areas in the world are, the Asian and Eastern European, but it is spreading, and it's spreading everywhere, including here in the United States. The FBI estimates there's 14,000 to 17,000 people being trafficked each year, And that's kind of scary when it could be somebody that you know and love. So just a thing for anybody who's out there who's gets an offer that seems too good to be true. Really look into what it is that you're accepting before you go somewhere with someone you don't know, which, stranger danger from our time as kindergartners, but still something to be aware of. So thank you for listening to my presentation. Y'all have a great day.